Okay, Nova, ready. I'd like to go ahead and call to order the Kodiak Island Borough Assembly regular meeting of Thursday, July 17th, 2025 at 8:41 p.m. And we are in the assembly chambers. The invocation will be by Captain Dave Shadow of the Salvation Army, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand.
Dear God, we thank you for the lives you've given us. We thank you for the safety you gave us yesterday during the tsunami event. And I pray that you'll continue to keep us safe and prepared for whatever you have for us. God, thank you for bringing us here this evening. Help us to always be instruments that will serve our community with honor and integrity, and help us to always be kind to those around us. Help us to be wise and thoughtful. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We are gathered on the traditional homeland of the Supiaq-Alutiiq people, and we acknowledge the 10 tribes of the Kodiak-Alutiiq region. We recognize the Alutiiq culture that enriches our community to this day. Roll call, please.
Mr. Ames, Mr. Griffin,
Here.
Mr. Johnson,
Here.
Mr. Ledoux,
Here.
Mr. Sharrett,
Here.
Mr. Smiley,
Here.
Mr. Whiteside,
Here.
Mayor Arndt.
Here.
You have a quorum.
Thank you. Next item is approval agenda and consent agenda. Jared?
Move to approve the agenda and consent agenda.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries unanimously. For the public's information, the consent agenda consists of approval of the minutes of the regular meeting of July 3rd. Next item is citizens' comments. And for the public, there are two designated periods for citizens' comments. One at the beginning of the meeting. Second one is towards the end of the meeting. And these comment periods are intended for general comments as well as for agenda items that are not part of a public hearing. We have one public hearing item for tonight, which is ordinance number FY 2026-3. Comments for this item will be heard when the item is called during public hearings, so please wait until we go to that portion of the agenda. For those of you that wish to call in, the local number is 907-486-3231. Toll-free number is 855-492-9202. Please turn off your radio to prevent feedback. For those of you in the room who wish to speak under citizens' comments, come to the podium and sign in. Turn on the microphone. Make sure the green light is on before speaking, and speak directly into the mic. State your name for the record, and please address all remarks to the assembly as a body and not to any member thereof. Go ahead, Carly.
My name is Carlene McChesney. Good evening. I sat through the first part of the meeting and agonized with you, and I remembered coming to you several years ago about the 8 senior citizens and the exemption, and I didn't agree with it. I challenged it. But you know what? Several weeks later, when I woke up in the morning, I knew that your decision was right, and it just took me a while, weeks, to figure it out, to figure out what that was all about. So I appreciate this. And then this reminds me of a story that I heard on the radio there was a young man that came in front of the judge, and it was the judge's son. And the judge had to find him guilty, and because that's the law. And then the judge closed the session, climbed down, and took off his robe, and went and paid his son's fine. And I kind of witnessed that here tonight also. So it was just beautiful to watch. And I love to come because it's the protocol, and when to say things, when not to. And there's just protocol that I don't know very much about. I'm still even learning not to say or do anything against someone's will. And here I am thinking I'm right, but I'm still learning. Thank you.
Thank you, Carly. Anyone else wishing to come forward and speak under citizens' comments, please do so at this time. Is there anyone on the phone at this time? No. Go ahead.
Okay. Hi, good evening. My name is Kristen O'Lear, and for those of you who may not know me, I'm the Executive Director of the Kodiak History Museum. I am here this evening to encourage the borough to approve our funding request for funding this year. There's been a lot of discussion this evening, and I think what has, at least at a very minimum, been made clear is that museum services are a vital part of community and education. This grant will directly support the continuation and development of meaningful educational programming and exhibits at our museum. Grant funds will allow us to provide accessible, engaging opportunities for both Kodiak residents and visitors to explore and connect with our shared history. This includes the development of temporary exhibits and a series of related public programs and events offered at no cost to participants. Your investment in our museum is an investment in lifelong learning, cultural engagement, and the preservation of Kodiak's diverse stories. We've been fortunate enough to receive funding support from the borough in the past, and we deeply value this partnership. We look forward to your continued support as we work to provide educational and cultural programming for our community. Thank you, guys.
Thank you for coming forward. Anyone else wishing to come forward and speak, please do so at this time.
Hi, Joseph Delgado. I'm from Ezinki. We've been here for 10,000 years, so welcome to you newcomers. I've already started, well, I guess not already. I've been watching these prices go up now that we are in the middle of the throes of our tariffs. Some stores have raised things $9 or $10. The workers there tell me this is just the beginning. It's going to get worse. The food is going to cost more, gas is going to cost more, rent is going to cost more, everything is going to cost more except for your labor. Your wages and stuff aren't worth it. They're not going to raise. We have to start thinking about looking. Let's look around our neighborhoods and our towns. Next year, let's see how many people are still here. My 82-year-old uncle, who is a veteran, his wait time went from 1 to 3 months to 3 to 5 months for response. Medical stuff like this is going to go on more and more. Longer wait times, worse service, less service. And with the news from Providence, who knows what's going to happen in Kodiak and outlying villages. We're not even talking about essential air service. How many of our villages are going to still have mail in a year or two? I know that Murkowski did some stuff to help Alaska, but that's only going to last for 2 years and all that expires. We got what we voted for. I hope that the billionaires and the millionaires and their tax cuts, I hope that some of that will trickle down after all these years of dreaming and dreaming that's going to happen, and it never does. But I hope this time it does, because this isn't sustainable. What we're doing, what the American government and Republican Party, in my view, are doing is they're culling the people that they don't like, the undesirables, the people that don't deserve it. That's to say the poor and the needy. They're culling them to make more room for them. Thank you.
We have a caller on the phone.
We're now answering a call from the queue.
You're on the line. Please state your name for the record.
Terry Storch.
Go ahead.
Yes, I was just noticing a very strange coincidence. Around 4 years ago, on July 21st, there was a tsunami warning. Then no tsunami was generated much at all. Then I believe it was in 2023, on the 15th of July, another tsunami warning issued, and once again, minimal tsunami. And now, here we are, yesterday, a tsunami warning, and I don't believe there's such a thing as smart earthquakes that only show up in mid-July. And it's still, there are still people who are bereaved over the loss of Vanessa McCormick. Sorry, I don't remember her full name, who passed away during the evacuation of the tsunami warning 2 years ago, approximately 2 years ago. And on the internet, there are rumors now circulating that the agency bureau that issues these tsunami warnings needs a vote of no confidence, and I think that's sad. I also have seen people posting geoengineering, that these are actually attempts to manufacture earthquakes and tsunamis. Either way, it's a very negative situation, and I think the borough needs to be aware that there's no such thing as smart earthquakes that only show up in July. So that's my comment.
Thank you for calling in. Do we have any other callers on the line? Any further comments from anybody in the audience? Seeing none, we'll move on to committee reports. Are there any committee reports that we have? Seeing none, we'll move on to public hearings. Ordinance number FY 2026-3, amending various sections of the Kodiak Island Borough Code, Title 17 zoning, to define pet-related uses and to locate these uses in specific zoning districts as either permitted uses or conditional uses. Jared?
Move to adopt ordinance number FY 2026-03.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Staff report, Manager Amy Williams.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Good evening, Mr. Mayor and Assembly. The Planning and Zoning Commission held a public hearing on the proposed code amendment on May 21st, 2025. The commission voted 5-0 with 2 members absent to recommend approval of the code amendment to the Assembly. The commission's recommendation with findings were organized into Planning and Zoning Commission Resolution Number Fiscal Year 2025-11. The signed resolution is attached to the agenda item in your packet tonight. Title 17 currently permits pet boarding facilities in rural neighborhood commercial district and as a conditional use in urban neighborhood commercial districts. Staff researched the issue and determined that code was lacking definitions to define pet-related uses, and the current districts where uses were allowed were both inadequate and not in conformance with best planning practices. The requested changes cover a variety of sections in Title 17. Our Community Development Director is here tonight to answer any questions that you might have.
Thank you. Do we have any questions or want a presentation? Bo?
Just a very brief, just wanted to thank Director French and Planning and Zoning again for this effort. I mean, updating our definitions and modernizing code so we can just get with the times, I think has been long overdue. So I really appreciate not only the recognition that this needed to get done, but doing it in a timely fashion along with the P&Z. Thank you.
Any further questions? With that, I'll go ahead and recess the regular meeting, open the public hearing, and once again, if you're calling in, the local number is 907-486-3231, toll-free number 855-492-9202. Please turn off your radio to prevent feedback. For those in the room who wish to speak, please come to the podium and sign in. Turn on the microphone, make sure the green light is on before speaking, and speak directly into the mic. State your name for the record, address all remarks to the assembly as a body, and not to any member thereof. Anyone wishing to come forward and speak, please do so at this time. Do we have anyone on the phone at this time? Seeing none, I'm going to go ahead and close the public hearing, reconvene the regular meeting. Any further assembly discussion? Roll call vote on the motion, please.
Mr. Griffin,
Yes.
Mr. Johnson,
Yes.
Mr. Ledoux,
Yes.
Mr. Sharrett,
Yes.
Mr. Smiley,
Yes.
Mr. Whiteside.
Yes.
Would anyone like to change their vote? Motion passes unanimously.
All right. Next item we have is Borough Manager's Report.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mayor Arndt, Deputy Presiding Officer Griffin, and I attended a meeting yesterday with Keyhouse, Shunak, and RuleCap and CANA to continue reviewing the opportunity of relocating Shunak's daycare program to North Star. Their work group is scheduled to present to the Assembly at the August 14th work session. We had scheduled a walkthrough of North Star Elementary yesterday. Due to the tsunami alarm, our plans were interrupted, but I want to take the opportunity to say great job to the Bayside Volunteer Fire Department, who moved all their equipment up to the North Star building and opened it up as a shelter for the community. This week, there was emergency management training. KAB staff members from assessing, community development, engineering facilities, finance, and the manager's department attended whole community emergency management planning and crisis leadership mayhem at Mandalay Bay. Thank you to Chief Ellis for letting us invade Bayside for the training. Yesterday, I reported that EOC is requested for the potential tsunami. I wanted to say special thanks to all of our first responders, and especially to Megan Christensen. She's the one borough employee that goes to the EOC. She acts as the public information officer. Last night, Assembly members Smiley, Assemblymember Griffin, who was representing KMXT, Mayor Arndt, and I attended the kickoff meeting for the local emergency planning committee. Emergency Services Director Rich Gonzalez led the meeting and placed members in leadership positions and organized subcommittees. I included tonight a timeline for the software conversion. I know you guys have been hearing us talk about this for 9 months, and as we approach the finish line, we have an actual go-live date set for September 23rd. There's a lot of work that still has to be done, but they assigned someone who says that they're going to get us past the finish line on time, so we're excited to see that happen. There is an article on the Prince William Sound Regional Citizens Advisory Council website. They have a section called the Community Corner. Kodiak has a featured article in there talking about how they're re-engaging with Kodiak. The article is included on the last page of this report. In Community Development, Planning and Zoning had their regular meeting last night. The commission voted to postpone the parking variance for the Maritime Museum into the September 17th meeting, and they held a public hearing on code amendments related to assisted living homes. For the multi-jurisdictional multi-hazard mitigation plan, we had heard back from FEMA. FEMA had some updates that they wanted to see made. We've worked with FEMA and the state of Alaska to get the information that we need. Changes are going to be completed and resubmitted to the state of Alaska and FEMA before the end of the month. For our Plan 2045 comprehensive plan, we have an open house on transportation and community facilities and services this upcoming week on July 22nd from the 10 to 2. So it's happening over your lunch hour in the assembly chambers. The public is encouraged to stop in any time from 10 to 2. If you're unable to attend, there is an online survey available. I have the link in the manager's report, or it'll be on the community development page on the borough website. Parks and Recs met this week too. The primary discussion in that meeting was the transportation portion of Plan 2045 when they talked about parks, open space, and trails element of the plan. The committee would like staff to work on a trail survey, much like the transportation and facilities survey that's being done right now. Russian River and Sargent Creek hydrology and hydraulic study is due to us by the end of July. We've seen drafts. We gave our comments back, and we should have that finalized by the end of the month. In finance, there are 7 properties that have been submitted to the court for an issuance of a clerk's deed for not paying their 2023 taxes, and we had a new payroll technician start on Monday, and she continued to come back each day, so we're off to a good start. In assessing, we have 2 senior citizens that have filed for a good cause hearing. Those hearings are scheduled for August 21st, and we have 2 cases from the BOE that was held on May 5th of this year that are being appealed to the Superior Court. We are currently working on settlement discussions for both of those cases. In engineering facilities, we have an applicant for our solid waste manager / environmental specialist position that we're reviewing. And I'm happy to announce that Jessica Basile was promoted to Secretary 3. She's been doing Secretary 3 work for a long time, so we're happy to get her reclassified into that position that better reflects her contributions to the borough. Design and specification for Chiniak School painting have been completed. The project was advertised on June 30th. We had a pre-bid conference on the 15th, and we had 2 contractors in attendance. So it looks like we will be able to award that when that closes. For the facilities contract for parking and road maintenance, we had a bid opening today, and the bids are being tabulated. At the KFRC, we are 14 weeks out from those pumps being done. And as I told you last week, staff was able to repair one of those pumps, so thanks to Will and Cody for that. At the landfill, we have an RFP for the landfill surface water monitoring annual contract. Went out on July 1st. Proposals are due by August 4th. And if you notice our parking lots, they have started getting painted. That project was awarded to K-Line Alaska, and they are getting it complete as weather permits. In information technology, IT is reviewing recent network security scans and are focused on getting critical severity issues patched. They're also working on physically locating the best position for a new Starlink out at the landfill, and they're helping install the new time clock hardware for our electronic time system at the KFRC and LTP. Finally, that article that I told you about for the Community Corner article is on the back page, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Ryan.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I do have 2 questions for you. Number 1 is the delinquent 2023 property taxes. This brought to question what we do or what our foreclosure process looks like and where our property foreclosure lists exist.
I have Seema come up and answer that for you.
Hey, it's been a while. So the foreclosure lists live with finance, but typically what finance will do is when they have a property that needs to go up to foreclosure or can go into foreclosure, then it will go to community development. Community Development's Planning and Zoning Commission will release the properties or say that they are not for some
Public
kind of
use.
intent, public use.
Necessary
That's-
for
that was
public
it.
use,
Yeah,
retainment.
and then it comes to you guys, and then we do have a list. If there's a certain amount of time by code and by law that we cannot sell the properties.
It's 10 years. We put them on the shelf for 10 years.
So, and then after that, then it would go on to the open, it could go on to the open market. I know that Dora has been working with community development to see if we can get some of those on for the lands committee too.
Yeah.
Thank you.
answer that question for you?
It does.
Kinda, yeah.
Yep, it does.
Your second one, Ryan?
Yep, thank you. My second one is, I do have a keen interest in the facilities contract that the bid opening was today. I brought this up in the work session. I had concerns about whether or not there was an exclusion clause when a contractor is awarded a contract and then declines the contract. Cody and I talked a little bit about this. And he stated that there was nothing necessarily in borough code that precluded a contractor from bidding on that. So I guess my question is I found things in state code. So I'm wondering if we have an obligation to look at state code in accordance to municipal code, how that rests and what the supremacy looks like. So, and I'm not expecting an answer right now, but I do have a keen interest, and I can tell from Cody's look, he's ready for this. So, if we could get a resolve to that, I don't know who bid on this, but I just know that this is something that has been brought to my attention. So.
We can absolutely reach out to Scott Byrne Erickson and ask him if there's a layer of levels that we have to follow one over the other.
Perfect, thanks.
Absolutely.
Okay, any further questions? Seeing none, we will move on to messages from the Borough Mayor. I got back yesterday morning and then ended up found out there was multiple meetings and got caught up. Showed up for the North Star one at a little before, what was that, 1:15, and then that got called off. But I had the opportunity to travel both for the borough and for the state through Alaska Municipal League to the National Association of Counties annual meeting. There's two representatives from Alaska on that on the NACO board. Myself, Ed Rodney Dial, Mayor out of Ketchikan. And it was very informative. They keep you very busy during the meetings. The land use, PILT. One of the big topics was over the, I'm going to say, the reorganization of FEMA, pulling it out of Homeland Security, creating its own department. And with part of the intent is to reduce the funding to FEMA. They're so far behind on funding disasters. Every time they throw $1 trillion into it, it's taking care of the ones from 3 years ago and not the ones in the current year. And part of the discussion was that the federal government has been its own worst enemy in replacing homes in flood zone areas and then 10 years later going back in and doing it again. And well, I had a discussion at the federal level about that needs to stop. Part of the direction was that more and more will be pushed on the state and therefore on the local municipalities for disasters on there. PILT money is still there. Rural schools is going to take another vote on there. That did not come through. A lot of good information. We found out that on the last day at the general session meeting that a member of the Anchorage Assembly showed up to vote and promptly left right after the vote. But we hadn't seen him the whole time at any of the meetings. But it was nice to meet him there. And I would thank the Assembly for allowing us to travel to that, allowing us to be part of the vote that took place at the general session. And we'll continue reporting on things. So thank you, and that's all I have at this time. So we'll move on to New business contracts. Contract number FY 2026-2, electrical service contract with Nodak Electric and Construction Incorporated. Jared.
Move to authorize the Borough Manager to execute contract number FY 2026-02 for Kodiak Island Borough Facilities Electrical Services with Nodak Electric and Construction Incorporated.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Staff report, Amy?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Our Engineering Facilities Department is tasked with maintaining borough facilities, and to assist with that maintenance, we have an electrical services contractor who agrees to prioritize the work that KIB needs to have done. The previous contract allowed for both a second extension and rate adjustments. However, the severity of the proposed increase in labor charges prompted KIB to initiate a new competitive bid process. EF staff prepared an updated invitation to bid and published on June 11th, 2025. The bid opening occurred on July 2nd, 2025. There were 2 bids, and staff determined that both contractors were responsible bidders. Nodak Electric and Construction Incorporated was deemed the lowest cost responsible bidder. Cody Allen, our acting engineering and facilities director, is here tonight to answer your questions on the contract if you have any.
And part of that determination was also the local preference. After the local preference, it was determined.
Yes, the 2 bids that we received, we did apply the local preference, which is 10%, and the one that won is because the
were still
10%
lower.
didn't help them. Yes.
Yeah. So, any questions? Dave?
One question, I apologize for asking. It should have been asked in the work session, but I wasn't here. My understanding is that Nodak is located at the airport. Is that correct?
Yes.
We're getting a report.
Technically, by their business address, they're located in Wasilla, Alaska, but they are staged on island, and that is correct. I confirmed that again after the work session.
Thank you. And so I just want to understand, because I'm not very good at math, I guess, but if they're driving 12 minutes each way to respond to a call out, that's 0.4 hours per call out, and you add that to their costs, I get $184.45. Does that sound reasonable?
That's not how the bid was structured or how the fees would be determined.
So
It's-
we're not paying travel time on these?
No.
Okay, perfect, thank you.
Any further questions regard to this? Thank you, Cody. Roll call vote on the motion, please.
Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Mr. Ledoux?
Yes.
Mr. Sharrett?
Yes.
Mr. Smiley?
Yes.
Mr. Whiteside?
Yes.
Mr. Griffin?
Yes.
Would anyone like to change their vote? Motion carried unanimously.
Thank you. Next item is ordinances for introduction. Ordinance number FY 2025-2C, amending ordinance number FY 2025-2, fiscal year 2025 budget. By amending budgets to account for various revenues that are over budget, providing for additional expenditures, and moving funds between projects. Jared.
Move to advance ordinance number FY 2025-02C to public hearing at the next regular meeting of the Assembly.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Staff report, Amy.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This ordinance is the final fiscal year 2025 budget amendment. These changes cover items or circumstances not known or expected during the initial creation of the fiscal year 25 budget. In this amendment, there are 11 requests. Number 1, a transfer of $8,978.59 from the general fund to the capital projects Kodiak Fisheries Research Center Facility Fuel Spill Project to cover expenses that were not reimbursed. Number 2, a transfer of $100,000 from within the general fund from the Borough Management Department to the Engineering Facilities Department due to project and staffing changes in the Engineering Facilities Department. Number 3, a transfer within the general fund of $120,000 from the Community Development Department to the Engineering Facilities due to project and staffing changes in the Engineering Facilities Department. Both the Management Department and the Community Development Department were under budget, while Facilities and Engineering was over budget, so we're just equalizing those out. Number 4, a transfer of $26,165.64 from Buildings and Grounds to the capital budget for the KIB air conditioner removal and replacement due to completion of the project. Number 5, a return of $844.17 from the Capital Project Fund Emergency Borough Boiler Replacement Project to the Building and Grounds Fund due to completion of the project. Number 6, a return of $51,234.04 from the Capital Projects Fund for the Peterson HVAC and roof replacement to the Buildings and Ground Fund due to completion of the project. Number 7, a transfer of $300,000 from within the Renewal and Replacement Fund, island-wide UST removal replacement work to continue work on the UST removal. These are the ADEC regulations as we continue to figure out what needs to be done for the fuel spill in Carluck. Number 8 is a transfer of $125,000 from the Renewal and Replacement Fund to the Capital Project Fund Millbait Beach Stairs Replacement Project. Number 9, a transfer of $22,068.01 from the Solid Waste Disposable and Collection Fund to the Capital Projects Fund for the Baylor Floor Overlay Replacement Project to close out the project. Number 10 is a transfer of $750,000 from the Kodiak Fisheries Research Center Fund to the Capital Projects Fund Kodiak Fisheries Research Center Decontamination Project. And number 11 is a transfer of $250,000 from the Kodiak Fisheries Research Center Fund to the Capital Projects Fund Kodiak Fisheries Research Seawater Intake Pump Replacement Project. That's the one I'm counting down for you. We're at 14 weeks. And we're happy to answer any questions, and our finance director is here tonight if you have them.
Any questions? Seeing none, roll call vote on the motion.
Mr. Ledoux?
Yes.
Mr. Sherritt?
Yes.
Mr. Smiley?
Yes.
Mr. Whiteside?
Yes.
Mr. Griffin?
Yes.
Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Would anyone like to change their vote? Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you. Next is citizens' comments. Once again, the local number 907-486-3231. Toll-free number 855-492-9202. And anybody wishing to call in, please turn off your listening devices on there. For those in the room wishing to speak, come to the podium, sign in, turn on the microphone, make sure the green light is on before speaking, and speak directly into the mic. State your name for the record and address all remarks to the assembly as a body and not to a member thereof. Do we have anyone in the audience that wishes to come forward and speak under audience comments here? Do we have any phone calls? We're going to go ahead and move on to assembly member comments. Going to start with you, Ryan.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Fun evening tonight. The first thing and only thing that I want to comment on is to thank the Chateaus and welcome to Kodiak. Appreciate you guys being here. You do not need to feel obligated to stay during the whole meeting, but appreciate you guys being here and look forward to future meetings. That's all. Thank you.
Scott.
I really appreciated the discussion about the Board of Equalization issues tonight. I thought the discussion on both sides was really quite interesting, and it shows the variability of legalese and how it can be interpreted fairly in different ways, and I thought that was interesting. I thought it was also cool that we were 3-3 on it. I thought that was interesting as well. I would like to have some better understanding of what we need to do about the tsunami warnings. When can we call it a real warning and when is it not going to happen? We don't get any of that information. My understanding was that they did observe tsunami waves in Sand Point at a height of between 12 and 18 inches. I think that occurred at around 1:40 in the afternoon. We didn't hear about that for quite a while afterwards. That kind of information would really be helpful, and collating it in some way would also be helpful. I worry that a number of tsunami warnings where we don't have a tsunami is gonna get people to act capriciously about the warnings. And somebody's gonna get caught, the mayor first, but everybody else after that.
Thank you, Scott. Larry?
Just a couple of things. Yesterday, I participated in the National Celebration of Hot Dogs, and it was quite an event. I was with the Rotary Club and the Lions Club, and we distributed, I think, over 600 hot dogs until we were interrupted by a tsunami siren that we originally thought was sort of an early Wednesday siren, but it turned out so. Some of the members bundled up all the hot dogs and brought them up to the high school and distributed it to the residents there. One of the comments I wanted to make is that the Assembly, I believe, and the P&Z and the public were very interested in ADUs, and a long time ago we tabled those and haven't brought them up again. And that's part of an overall plan to improve housing in Kodiak. But so besides not really selling land for several years and tabling ADUs, and I think we need to get busy on those two issues. I was unhappy with the results tonight, but I fully accept them as an assembly decision, if that makes any sense. You don't always win, but when the assembly votes, it's what it is, and I support us as an assembly and respect that. I will say, though, if you haven't been in the remodeled museum, and I think I can say this safely, it is incredible. It is world class, and it's nothing like it looked like before, and it is worth taking your family to. I took my grandson there, and he really had a lot of fun. I thought he'd be bored, but he was enthralled with what happened there. Finally, I would like to acknowledge, I read in the paper of the passing of Dr. Gary Carver. And many of you probably never had the incredible opportunity to meet Dr. Carver, but he was an earthquake specialist from Humboldt State University, world-renowned. I mean, had been doing it for years. You should see his slides of an earthquake in Chile that was only a 6-point earthquake that destroyed the entire community, killed lots of people. But he taught at the college. I had the opportunity to take classes from him. And one of the things that when I was taking classes, I invited him into the schools to walk around because he's an expert on school construction and safety and earthquakes. And he was appalled and immediately went to the borough and said, you got to do something. As a result of that, the borough got almost, I think, $20 million from FEMA to remodel our buildings and do something with them. And you can still see the report that was generated about facilities. So a lot of our schools were retrofitted because of him. And one of the things I will point out, and I think it's important, with earthquake safety, there are two I'm not going to go into it, I promise. There are two discontinuity zones where the Pacific Rim is locked. One is called the Shumagon Discontinuity Zone, and the other is the Yakatega. And the Shumagon is right off Kodiak, and there's no earthquakes there. It's where the plates are locked. And if you look up at the hillsides up there, you'll see thrust faults going up the hill, 30, 40 feet. Eventually that area gives and produces mammoth waves. And we had an 8-point earthquake off Kodiak. Was that 22 years ago? It was a slip fault earthquake that didn't generate a wave. But if anybody thinks that Kodiak is somehow safe right now, they're wrong. And Dr. Carver pointed that out in many, many ways. And I haven't heard any scuttlebutt about yesterday or when it was or who called it, but I am glad there are people at least trying to make decisions, because if they hesitate at the wrong time, people are going to die. On the other hand, if we have too many with nothing, people are going to die. But I would rather err on making those tough, I've been in positions, as many of you have, to make those tough decisions, and it's easy to second guess decisions. But when you're dealing with the lives of people in those decisions, you have to be pretty conservative instead of liberal. So I just wanted to remember Dr. Carver. I wanted to extend my condolences, and most people have never met him, will have never heard of him, but he's done an incredible amount for our community, and we've missed him for a long time. Thank you.
Dave?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just wanted to thank my fellow assembly members for their grace during my absence, and I am happy to be back on the island and back to it.
Jared?
Just a couple of things. KMXT has had a hell of a week. And please, please don't get your science from internet rumors. Thank you.
Thank you. Bo?
Thank you. I agree with Dr. Ledoux in that we've stalled out in several areas to address our housing shortage here in Kodiak. So just a reminder, if my memory serves correctly, is we tabled ADUs because we wanted to wait to see what we were going to do with a short-term rental licensing program, which we tabled because we were going to obtain a service to monitor and track short-term rentals. I'm not sure where we're at there, but that's how we have tabled all of those items. It's been kind of a snowball effect, and now we are currently stalled out. Aside from that, mixed feelings on what happened with the tsunami as well. I do know that the decision that was made to delay the sirens led to substantial confusion. So I think there's some room for improvement there, but as far as how we can communicate that to the community is that there are metrics that folks are looking at before hitting go on the alarms, because that caused a lot of confusion and then frustration and anger afterward. So we either need to do one or the other, and whatever the professionals decide, I think we should communicate that to the public. But on the good side, I think people were great in helping each other out. We were picking folks up on Near Island that were tourists, and we were carting them across the bridge and getting them to the high school and high five, and this is where you need to be. And a lot of people were helping out and moving around and doing things other than just kind of sheltering in place. So it was really cool to see the community come together, and glad it was uneventful.
Thank you. The next Assembly work session is scheduled on Thursday, July 31st, 2025, at 6:30 p.m. The next Assembly regular meeting is scheduled on Thursday, August 7th, 2025, at 6:30 p.m. in the Borough Assembly Chambers. Entertain a motion to adjourn.
Move to second.
Been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Pose same sign. We are adjourned at 9:28 p.m. Thank you all for attending.